It was a silent hot afternoon in the middle of the desert. All around were high mountains of sand and their endless expanse. The sun's bright rays seemed to turn the sand into a furnace. Here, in this desolate desert, stood Jesus alone, lost in his meditation. He had been fasting for 40 days straight, and his face reflected a divine peace despite his fatigue. Suddenly a shadow approached him. It was none other than the devil. He said with a sarcastic laugh, "Oh Jesus, you really are the Son of God, aren't you? Look how you have become in this hot sun and terrible hunger. Why don't you use your power and eat something? Turn these stones into bread?" Jesus looked at him without any fear and said, "Man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." The devil did not give in. He changed his tactics. "If you are truly the Son of God, accept my challenge," he said with a dangerous gleam in his eyes. "Come, let me show you something." In one fell swoop, the devil began to change the environment of the desert. The wind suddenly picked up. Small waves of sand began to rise, which in a moment turned into a terrifying storm. The devil spread his hands and his power was reflected in the air. "Do you see this storm, Jesus?" he roared. "I can make it worse. If you are the Son of God, stop it." The wind picked up speed so fast that the sand particles pierced like arrows. The sky turned black, and the sandstorm spread darkness all around. Jesus' eyes were slightly affected, but they "Aren't you afraid, Jesus? No one can survive this storm. I want you to obey me. Submit to my power. Your silence will get you nowhere," Satan said with a sly smile on his face. Jesus paid no attention to his words. He closed his eyes and went into prayer. The words of his prayer drowned in the noise of the storm, but the strength and determination within him were evident. Satan began to press harder. The storm had become more violent. The remains of trees were flying in the air, and the walls of sand grew so high that they looked like mountains. "Jesus," Satan thundered, "you have two choices: either accept my power and end it all, or ask for the help of your God." But Jesus opened his eyes. There was now an unshakable confidence on his face. He raised his hand to the storm and said in a calm voice, "Be still." Immediately, as soon as these words were uttered, the storm ceased. The sand that had been dancing in the whirlwind settled to the ground in an instant. The wind that had been roaring stilled. The sky became clear again, and the sun's rays shone on the sand. Satan was stunned at this. The end of his cunning and power was before him. He said with anger and frustration, "You have proved that you are truly the Son of God. But remember, I will return again." And Jesus took a deep breath and looked towards the sky. There was a light smile on his lips. He realized that his faith and patience would take him through every challenge. This incident was not just a storm in the desert. It was a symbol of unshakable faith and divinity, which showed that no matter how deep the darkness is, light can always defeat it. If you consider Jesus as your father, then definitely write "Jesus my Father" in the comment box. And to watch such videos of incidents in Jesus' life daily,